The Perfect 10, where the list of 10 is perfect, at least in our own minds. With your hosts, Clint and George, including Adam and Gail, presented by La Mexican Restaurant and Bar. Here we go. Welcome, everybody, to The Perfect 10. And we have a very special guest, as this Perfect 10 will not be quite the traditional one that everybody is used to. We have Cassidy-Rae, who happens to be live with us in the USA.
G'day, y'all. How you doing?
We are awesome.
We are awesome. Happy that you are on.
Fantastic. Love this.
Now, of course, we have to thank one of your super fans. And I don't know how Facebook Universe works or how it worked.
Incredible, isn't it?
Zoe is definitely a big reason for this. As
Zoe,
well as
appreciate you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, thank you, Zoe.
Thank you very much.
We met online, and she's this gorgeous, gorgeous friend of mine from Boston, Massachusetts, and she listens to my songs. And you know, it's what every musician hopes for, a person that actually falls in love with your music and just wants to support you. That's exactly what she did. She said, you know, I really love you and connect with your music. I want you to come to Boston. And she said, how can I do that? And I went, well, we've got to get as much friends and as much growth in America as possible. And she said, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to message as many people that can help you grow, that I love, that I'm loving tuning into, that I think, you know, will love you. And she's been absolutely a firework, sharing and supporting this musical journey. And she reached out to Greg, and Greg reached out to me while I was in Nashville going, you know, let's hang out. And it's been so serendipitous that it all aligned, perfect timing.
Yeah, this has been very cool. And of course, I know a few months ago we were trying to work through emails, which was a little trickier. And then of course you were on a cruise ship doing
as you do. That's like a pretty, normal statement in my life. I was just on a cruise ship. Now I'm in Nashville. I was in Australia. I'm going back to Australia. I'll be back in Nashville. Like, it just never ends.
I was gonna say that's a great lead up. I mean, how busy your schedule? It's like, okay, do you have any pets back in an apartment? Hiding somewhere, just hanging out?
A couple of years ago, we actually had cat. Like, I've grown up in a very big cat family, and no matter where we moved, it was always like we'd either have like the neighbor's cat would become my cat, and I'd adopt them. And then we had cats of our own in our own family. And like, even, you know, I just moved up to Brisbane. So I have both New South Wales and I have Queensland. So 2 different states. It's like living in Tennessee and Texas at the same time. So you're only like a 10-hour drive away from each other. But we had a cat back there, but no cats in Brisbane. I have a lot of birds, though, like wild birds that we feed. So no, I do not have any pets that I could look after on a consistent basis, given how much I'm traveling. Literally a month ago, I just left Seattle, and like a month and a week ago, I was in Hawaii, and like I flew back to Australia. I got given this incredible opportunity to be chosen out of 700 entrants to be one of 14 to actually play my songs for some publishers, some big players in Nashville. And they were like, congratulations, you leave in 2 weeks. Thank you so much. It was this huge opportunity that I'm like, if you told me a week earlier, I probably wouldn't have left Seattle. But good to know that this is here. So I hop back on a plane and I go back to Australia and start touring there and start doing some really cool shows. And then I'm back here before I can blink, I guess.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's
14 out of 700. That's...
Yeah, that was like, it blew me away when I realized, because I just, you know, I'd actually applied. It's this Play for Publishers workshop where you get to learn what life is like in Nashville and, you know, what Nashville publishes. So the people that take songs and put them to artists, or the people that, you know, cut songs, That's the word. They work with Kenny Chesney, Cody Johnson, Rascal Flatts, Blake Shelton, Keith Urban, Miranda Lambert. Like, they've worked with such huge names, and they took time out of their schedule to come and sit down and listen to 14 people share original songs, give feedback on it, and really just start to build connections here in town, which is, such an incredible opportunity, and I never expected it. And they actually just said, I still can't believe this, but I told everybody just last weekend that they said my next song that I'm going to release, it's called One More Song. They said it was a stadium banger, was their words. And I was like,
nice.
Just like happy dancing and
Yes, I remember, because it's like Stadium Banger. Like, we should make a song called Stadium Banger.
Right?
This is good for a show, or this is good to like play at your next performance. No, this is like a stadium banger. And I think, 7 p.m. Like, I was watching Nissan Stadium at the CMA Fest, and that's like 70,000 people plus. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they're saying that equivalent of a banger. I'm like, what a cool lead into my song, I guess. Like, now I was excited, but now I'm like stocks blown off excited. So it's going to be awesome.
Awesome.
I mean, not really surprised though. I mean, you were the People's Choice Best Female Vocal for 2022.
Thank you. Yeah.
So my first question for you is like, how was the feeling when they announced that? Because like me personally, I feel like awards that people vote for, I feel like are probably better because it's actually the people actually voting instead of like a committee or something like that. It actually came from the people, the audience. They listen to your music, they show the support and the love. And it's like, you are the vocalist for 2022. Like, what was the feeling when you got that announcement?
I think I'm still gobsmacked anytime somebody brings it up and then they're like, oh yeah, this happened in your life. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like how incredible. And it's honestly, I can't take any of the credit. Like it's this incredible fan base that I have. And, I talk to them every week, so I don't even call them fans anymore. I just call them friends. But it's this incredible community that just loves good vibes and good tunes on repeat that wanted to help me on this journey and this adventure, and they wanted to be a part of it. So I owe it all to them, but I'm still shocked constantly and trying to I feel like I wake up every day and I have 5 minutes of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that this is my life. And then I spend the rest of the day trying to see how long I can keep it going for.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, our podcast, specifically this Perfect 10, we usually every week try to come up with a category, and we give up our top 10 of whatever the category is.
Okay.
Well, of course,
always be the worst.
Yeah. Well, depending on who you talk to.
Okay.
But we did turn around, and we'll go through. We do have 10 of the topics. We won't ask you for like a whole bunch of your 10, but kind of like what your number one might be out of these categories. So we'll turn around and pick a couple here and there as we go through.
I will tell you, I'm absolutely terrible at picking favorites. I'm such an indecisive person when it comes to why I like something. But go for it.
All right. Well, we'll throw the softball at you first.
Okay.
Your favorite beverage of choice. What's your go-to?
For an easy one. So it's actually, I brought it even with me, and I have it nearly all the time. It's like, I'm not even sponsored by them, but it's T2 New York breakfast tea. And it's meant to and I'm not even in New York, I'm in Nashville. But it's a black tea, and it's supposed to taste of like hot pancakes. And to me, it just tastes like vanilla and caramel. And I have my tea black, and I have about 6 cups a day.
I never heard of that. It tastes like hot pancakes.
Pancakes?
That's their description. It says a full-bodied, I don't know what the body part is, but I'm a little bit black tea, boasting the taste of hot pancakes inspired by a perfect New York moment. And to be fair, when I was in New York, I did not have pancakes. I had pizza. So I don't know what they're talking about, but it says warm up in the morning and we just wait for the tea that never sleeps. And I'm like, I get that it never sleeps. I did not sleep that entire time I was in New York, but I had pizza, I had New York cheesecake, and I had tea. I had a lot of tea. So I don't know what they're talking about, but it tastes great, and I'm addicted.
So any teas basically are your numero uno then.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, I started with Melbourne Breakfast from T2. It's like a company in Australia. And it just tasted like vanilla. And one day I went in and she was like, the sales clerk just said, do you want to try anything else? I'm like, no, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And she's like, well, how do you know that you don't like it if you don't try it? And I went, oh my goodness, you're 100% right. So I have these lives on Sunday called Sunday Sit Down, where I sit down and I was like, it's a new year. I'm going to try a new thing every week. And nobody told me that it couldn't be tea. So I tried 50 different flavors of tea and was like, great, I hate gunpowder tea. And it is a thing and it tastes disgusting. But I loved New York breakfast. I fell in love with it. And yeah, it's awesome. So I'm all down for tea and cookies. That's my jam.
My sister stay in New York too, so I'm going to try some of that New York tea next time I go visit her in Buffalo. I'm going to try that.
Done and done. Let me know your postal address and I'll send you some so we can have some tea next time I'm on the show. And you can be like, yeah, we're trying it together. I love that.
Sounds like a plan.
That sounds like a plan.
I love
it. I also love tea. Don't like coffee, but love tea. I'm a tea person. I don't like coffee.
I think the only downside about America is that they're not tea drinkers. They're coffee drinkers. Every place is a drip coffee or a latte. But that's okay because I come prepared. So anybody wants it, it's fine. America is great. I love America. I'm playing even a game with myself to see how many American flags I can see every day because it's just everywhere. Your patriotism is just phenomenal.
And I'm a tea drinker myself. I can't do coffee. Something in my stomach just doesn't like it. So I've even tried the straining the beans and everything.
Yeah.
They said that'll help get rid of the bitterness. Nope, it doesn't matter. None of them work.
The hot water from a coffee, but without the coffee. And then what you can do is add a tea bag, and then it's like tea. That's what I say.
I know I heard people add cocoa to. I think they add cocoa to like their coffee. I want to say.
Yeah,
I heard people do that before.
Yeah, so I had a mocha this morning, and I have to say mocha because I went up to them and I was like, "Can I have a mocha?" In my very Australian accent, and she just went, "Do you want a matcha?" And I was like, "No, a mocha." And she's like, "A what?" And I just had to go, "Oh, it's my Australian." I'm like, "I'm so sorry. Can I please have a mocha?" So I want coffee and chocolate. And she's like, "Oh, gotcha." And I was like, "Awesome. I'm gonna go back to my Australian now." And then I flip back accent. Okay, that's not weird at all. I'm like,
I call it mocha too, though.
Yeah, we call them mocha.
I called it mocha, like a mocha. Yeah, that's what I always called it.
But we say mocha.
I was saying it wrong too.
You just try going up to mocha, and the hostess will just look at you with the strangest look on your face.
I was gonna say you translate that Australian English thing better than some actors and actresses do. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Owe it to Carnival Cruise Line. So for those that don't know out there, I'm a resident on Carnival. And yeah, I got on my very first day back in 2017. I was based out of Miami, Florida. And now even I can't say Florida in Australia. It always just flips to Florida. And I got on the Carnival Sensation and I walked on and I was like, "Excuse me, I have an empty bottle of water. Where's your rubbish bin?" And this lady looked at me and she's like, "I don't understand you. You need to speak English." And I went, "Alrighty." So I'm like, Dorothy is not in Kansas anymore. And I just went straight into American accent. I'm like, "I'm so sorry. I have this water bottle. Where is your trash can?" She pointed my right. Identify exactly the American accent. And y'all have so many different dialects as well. In Australia, we have practically two. So there's not really a state to state difference. There's redneck equivalent, which we call a bogan, which is "G'day, mate. How you going? Do you want to chuck a ciggy, chuck you, and we'll go get breakfast at Mackey's and Macca's, and we'll watch the Kangers and they have a bevy in the arvo." And that's how they talk all the time and shorten everything. or you have the typical Australian accent, which sounds kind of like mine. So there's like, you can tell it's you don't know where I'm from, but it's very much like this. But in America, y'all have like, you know, the LA, which is like, oh my God, there is a dog and my parents playing pumpkin spice lattes are like my life. And then you go to like the mid area and it's just like this nondescript, like you can go to Arizona, you can go like Idaho and like Ohio. I mean, if you want to find an Ohioan, you just go OH in any room and you'll find them.
That's true. Io, yeah.
That's right. That is no lie. That is absolutely right.
And you just like hold up your hand and you're like, where are you from? And they're like, there. And they'll get excited. And you go down lower to like any Western and you just have to like slow everything that you're saying. And then you really overpronounce your vowels. And it's like, bless your heart, darling. And it's like that Southern belle. And then they start to get that twang in. And you just go, God love this country. Oh my gosh, this is just amazing. And then you go to like New York and you're like, I'm walking here. And that's all I know.
Yeah, my first time in New York.
Everything gets faster, more aggressive. And I mean, you go to Florida and you're like, porque no le dos, bienvenido de Melacula, en vivo. And you're like, welcome to Miami.
Yeah, I can testify. New York, they can tell within like 4 minutes if you're not from New York or not.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, you can say like ba and ka, and you're like, you could be Australian, and then when you hear them like get aggressive, and you're like, I'm walking here, you're like, you are 100% like New York, New Jersey, somewhere there. So yeah, I had to learn like all the different dialects because I travel all around the country. And we were saying before that before we even had this live that I was like in Seattle last month, and you know that's like I can't talk always Australian because some of them have just never heard that accent and they just get really confused. So I'm constantly on different sides and all around the country, and you've got to kind of get used to the accent. So yeah.
I love the fact that as soon as you went for the Michigan thing, that's priceless. That is absolutely priceless.
Yeah. Or they'll do like this.
And I've also lived in Michigan. I lived there for 19 years. So I believe it or not, they're just like, where'd you live at? And I went, I was here and here.
They always have to do it.
I totally do it.
From Michigan. Like somebody would be like, yeah, I'm just from Nevada. But you'd be like, I'm from Michigan. Oh, and then you have like, don't you know? And you're like, yes, they got that. And the Wisconsin, you just have to like find cheese and they'll be there. Gosh, I'm not meaning to mock in any way. I actually really
it's true though.
It's so true.
It's true. Like you go down, it's true.
About it. Like I've learned, I was one of those people that got so excited that I'm like, oh my gosh, if I'm going to America, I'm going to learn all 50 states and I can say them in alphabetical order. And I absolutely love it. So I'm a big fan. And I just kind of wanted to know as much as possible before I went, even down to the culture. So
that's very cool. Well, when you're around the Detroit, Michigan area, they will definitely, because you had mentioned to us a little bit ago that not too much on the hot dogs, but the sausages, but the National Coney Island hot dogs up in Detroit, Michigan, or a couple other, there's a few Coney Island places that you definitely want to try to check those out.
Look, I try everything once within limitations. I'm not going to Colorado for weed or anything like that. Limitations. But no, if I go to Nashville, I have to try fried chicken. I have to try a barbecue. If you go to New York, you have to try a Philly cheesesteak. You have to try New York cheesecake. You have to try the New York pizza. Wisconsin, it's got to be the cheese fries. So like anywhere I go, I've got to like absorb myself in the culture 100%. I went to New Orleans in Louisiana and I actually got to try beignets from where they were made, which was so cool to like walk down Bourbon Street and to go check it all out, all the jazz music as well, and like sail down the Mississippi. So definitely love to absorb myself in all the culture.
That's my bucket.
Well,
I want to go to New Orleans.
Yeah, I was going to say up here, Cleveland, we got the po' boys and pierogies and a little bit of Polish food.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I can't wait to like come to town and try it all. You'll have to take me to all the good places, but definitely go to New Orleans. And I couldn't say New Orleans, which is very Australian because we go New Orleans. And a fan online from friend in the community said, you just got to say Narlins, like Nawlans, and it's Narlins. And the more you say it, just comes New Orleans. And so it's not actually New Orleans, which is
Right.
So I get very into it.
That's awesome.
See, I can just talk your ear off.
You had the best fans that like they do stuff
Yeah,
like
you
that.
do.
Like now you go to it like you gotta say like this. Them the best fans right there. Them.
Thank you.
They make sure like I say it this way. Like my sister told me that. And it's like look, like they're gonna tell you for like 3 minutes. Like you say like one sentence, they're gonna tell you're not from New York. It's like, yeah, like yeah, not from New York. Like I think up there, I think they still say soda. We say pop. They still say soda up there. They're like, let me get a soda. Like
that takes them like
I call it pop
because I call it like soft drink, and y'all have differences. Like in Australia, our Sprite is lemonade. We don't actually have lemons that are lemonade. We call that squash. And so I keep going into places and like, can I just have a lemonade with grenadine? And they're like, yeah, sure. And it's actually like squash with grenadine. And I'm like, no, I want a Sprite with grenadine. Whoops, my bad. But they're all different. So, whoops, I get used to it.
Well,
that happens more and more.
I was going to say, let's catch up with our commercial break here real quick. And we'll be right back with more of Cassidy-Rae. La Troye Mexican Restaurant and Bar, located in Wellington, just east of 58 on Herrick. Monster margaritas, and enough food to feed the whole family. Mention the Perfect 10 and receive 10% off your order. Dine in or take out, just like the Perfect 10 has at La Troye.
Pizza Galley, located in the heart of Vermilion, monthly pizza specials from specialty pizzas to subs and po' boys. Open Wednesday and Thursday at 4. Friday through Sunday, open at noon. Call 440-963-0177.
Delmonico's Barbershop with 2 locations on Liberty Avenue in the Delmonico Plaza in Vermilion. Open early at 5 a.m. on Monday through Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. 8 a.m. on Thursday, or their Lorraine location on Oberlin Avenue, 8 a.m. Delmonico, more than just barbers, their family.
Bodine Sanders, author of Race Against Race. Experience diversity and inclusion in sports through Bodine's eyes. From high school to Cheney, all the way through his graduation at Villanova and beyond. Get your copy today at Barnes & Noble and Amazon. Also available on all ebook platforms, Kindle, and local libraries ebook. Check out Race Against Race today.
Alrighty.
Love it.
We're back with a very special episode of The Perfect 10 with our special guest, Cassidy-Rae, all the way from Australia, currently visiting in Nashville, or we should say working in Nashville.
Working.
You're definitely working.
How do you, like, I constantly say, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And while it's not true, like I'm constantly doing things, I love this. And I think if work is counted as like a job, I don't think I can call this like just over broke as a job. Like I absolutely love what I do. And I wake up so excited to start each day. And so I'm having a lot of fun in Nashville.
This right here, our vidcast, I call them. If we could do this all the time, I'd be like, yep, no problem. No problem at all. Love to do this. Would love to do this all the time. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what it's supposed to be,
Yeah.
Podcasts, vidcasts, everybody who does this. I mean, these are the things that make the internet fun. A lot of fun. So I want to throw another Perfect 10 category at you.
I'm ready.
This one, Clint and I had a lot of fun doing.
Okay.
dream duets. If you could take two musical icons and put them together for a duet, who would you choose?
You probably should rephrase that. If Cassidy-Rae can pick one artist
There you go.
to
I like that.
collaborate with, they're
I
like,
like that.
who would it be?
These are questions.
That's pressure. That's pressure.
The answer is Taylor Swift. 100%. No questions asked. No, not even a thought. I think it would go Taylor Swift, Kelsey Ballerini, Carrie Underwood, Dolly Parton. At the moment would be like dreams. And I think the next one will be like Keith Urban, and it'll be like, please let me live in Nashville in Australia. That would be the song. Can I live in it? It's like a question of like, can I live both?
I like that, Clint. That was a good one.
But see, Taylor Swift is 100% at the top. That's like my
Taylor Swift.
Yeah. And I cannot wait for her to come to Brisbane and Sydney to do her Eras tour. I'm just so excited.
Yeah, I know my one friend, he's in Pittsburgh. He said that I think they said like 73,000 was there.
It's so incredible that
Is there? They said that's like a record or something.
So it's just absolutely talented. I'm so impressed constantly.
All right. I'll throw another question at you if you don't mind.
Go for it.
All right. I think it's just like in anything. Like I was an athlete. Like we had like pre-game rituals. Do you have any like pre-show rituals you would do before you go on stage? Like anything you go?
Yeah, I kind of do. I always have tea with me, and if I don't have tea, I'm a little bit nervous. Just because I like to warm up my throat. Other than like warming up and spending time with my family, like usually my mum comes with me to everything. She's not only like my best friend, but she's a part of the Cassidy-Rae team. She's the photographer. She's the extra pair of hands. I mean, I grew up and she could have made me learn guitar, but she decided to give me like piano lessons. I was 2 years old. My brother was 3, and he had piano lessons, and I was sitting on the floor like tapping away. My piano teacher was like, well, if she's going to do it, she might as well do it on the keys, and she might as well like actually learn how to play. So I started playing when I was 2 years old. She could have given me a guitar at that point. She could have been like, hey, here's an easier instrument to travel with. But no, she didn't do that at all. Instead, I learned piano and became a resident on Bull Carnival. And whenever I'm traveling, I always have keyboard will travel. So she suffers and she has to be roadie as well and carry along with me. So usually I'm talking with her. I'm as chill as possible because I think the energy that I want to put out there on stage is something that's positive and good vibes, and not something that's fear-based and fear-driven and scared and desperate. So I'm looking to have a good time. Like, I love music. I love performing. I love letting people have like a good feeling. In fact, one of the things I say at the start and end of my show is, my name is Cassidy-Rae. If you didn't know that, now you do, and your life is forever different now, but hopefully for the better. I definitely want to leave people with like a good experience and good vibes and feeling like this was such a wonderful time. So yeah, I try and make sure that I'm as calm and as chill and as happy as possible, so I can kind of give that in my show. And yeah, but otherwise I know my show so well, and I've been practicing it for so long that it's kind of second nature. I don't need to rethink it or re-go through it. That's kind of comes easy. It's just more the energy that I want to put out on stage.
I was going to ask you if you had the
shout out to Mom, by the way.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Any superstitions?
I mean, I'm not superstitious. I'm like a little stitious. So I won't walk on like cracks in the pavement if I can help it, or I won't walk under a ladder. But
I remember that. Step on a crack, breaking mama's back.
I just think it's an OH&S issue, like an occupational health and safety hazard issue, if I'm walking under a ladder. And I don't really find myself walking under ladders that much. So I'd say I'm not superstitious. I'm just a little stitious.
Okay. This one, outside of yours, what is one of your favorite songs?
Okay, so that's a hard question because I'm constantly listening to so many artists that it's ridiculous. And I mean, I've been like inundated with new artwork and artists that I'm listening to. Even from this Play for Publishers, I've made so many great friends like Elizabeth Ann Music and Ryan Garrison. They just did some really cool songs and they're in Nashville and up and coming songwriters. I cannot not listen to anything Taylor Swift. I feel like that is like at the top, and I could listen to anything from any era and be like completely happy, from like Lavender Haze to Red to We Should Never Get Back Together to Love Story, which was like the first song I ever heard from her. I love Seaforth. They're an Australian duo that has been living in Nashville for quite some time now, and they actually just came back to Sydney and to Brisbane to play at Groundwater last year, which is a country music festival in in Queensland, and it was so much fun actually getting to watch them. And being a musician, whenever I watch somebody perform, normally I'm analyzing it, going like, I love the way that they played this little lick, or I love the way that they harmonized there. And whenever I watch Seaforth or some other artists, I find myself just thoroughly in the moment, actually enjoying them. And they just released a new song called Get It Girl, but I love all of their songs. I have playlisted. I don't know. I have so many like that I've playlisted. I love Mitchell Tenpenny, like, History. I love Sarah Bareilles. Like my tastes are so eclectic. We got History, sorry. Maren Morris, I could use a love song I listen to a lot. Shivers by Ed Sheeran, by Dirt, by Jordan Davis. Somebody Like That, Tennille Arts. It's very country oriented, but yeah, I have this whole playlist that I just listen to constantly. I don't know, Heart Like a Truck, Lainey Wilson. So see, I can't pick a favorite. It's a terrible choice because I have
but that's good. Yeah, I was going to say
it was hard. It was hard when we had to do it.
It was hard for us too. We actually had to do it by the decades.
Oh gosh, that's terrible.
And even when we did, I think it was the 80s. We almost had to do 2 shows on the 80s.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like how do you you could just do top 10 80s country, like you'd need like subgenres of like 80s country, 80s pop, 80s singer-songwriter, and you'd need that here, like top 10 favorite, like just the artist songs in their like album. Like I would do Taylor Swift, but like Taylor Swift just in Red, what's my top 10? And then just in Midnight, what's my top? Like I would be so hard.
And that's what we go through every week. We put ourselves through the strain and the stress. We try to pick 10 of our favorite or not so favorite. We've actually even had, I'll throw this one at you, our celebrities. We actually did 2 different celebrity when we were actually at La Troy. We were live at the restaurant. We did our top 10 favorite celebrities and our top 10, not going to say hated, but not so, not the ones that we could care to do without celebs.
Yeah. See, for me, it's always been like this really hard decision of like, who do I like least? And whenever I think about that, I always go, I don't want to think about who I'd not like to see, but I think there should be more of a light shone on like females that are breaking barriers and men that are breaking barriers in the industries that they're in. So there's this Instagram page, not that I'm sponsored by them or anything, that's called The Goodness Movement. And it's all about like finding the good news in the world that people aren't really talking about on major networks. And instead, talking about politics and what Trump is doing, what Biden is doing, and what our prime minister is doing, and what the Queen's up to, or now the King. It just talks about like really cool things that are happening that small town people are doing, or like they'll acknowledge female astronauts that are making huge strides in the industry that was male dominated for such a long time, or females. So I'd rather just like, I think that would be such a hard thing to go, who wouldn't I like and why wouldn't I like them? I'd just so much rather go, who should be a celebrity? What are the top 10 people that should be celebrities and should be more accredited and more focused on in today's society so that we can inspire to be more like them?
So who would your favorite celeb be?
My favorite person that I think should be a celeb, or my favorite celebrity in general?
Your favorite celebrity in general?
Taylor Swift. I'm 100% a Swiftie. Like, I love the way that from the very beginning of her career, she's been so humble and so down to earth and so connecting with fans. I think, as an artist, there's a lot of there's a disparity between fans and an artist, and there's this like block and like kind of like a hill to climb to join the two. And Taylor, from the very start, has always gone, this is who I am, this is the way that I talk. And the fans are the most important thing. And for me, growing up in music, it first started out as therapy. I was 15 and my best friend at the time, her name is Daniela Meath Barlow, she passed away to type 1 diabetes, dead in bed syndrome, which is basically where your heart goes into a glycemic reaction and you are so low on sugar that you go into a coma and you just never wake up. And her parents got told the next day that there's alarms in America that wake carers, and they just weren't in Australia. So her death was literally preventable at 17 years of age. And I found out on Facebook. And that was kind of like, the worst way to find out that your best friends have passed is to sing RIP all on her wall. And, I turned to music as therapy. When words fail, music speaks. And this community found me that just went, you're really speaking something that we weren't able to articulate. And from there, I got to have this opportunity and join Carnival, and then music became this adventure. And so I had people going, you just live on vacation. And so I was like, you know what, that would be a really cool title. I'm on vacation. And so music became less of therapy and more just of like something that's joyful or something to look and find the joy. And finally, music has become like this connection and this way of entertaining and bringing a community together that's all about good vibes and good times. And so we're raising a glass and we're saying, cheers, y'all. We're focused on the positives of life, and it doesn't have to be about love. Like the next song that I'm going to release is called One More Song, and it's literally for the music lovers that are just, their go-to karaoke song, their last call song, their song that when they hear it on the radio, they wind the windows down and they turn the volume up and they sing it at the top of their lungs because it is just peace and joy in their hearts. That's what this song is. It encapsulates that feeling. So music constantly changes, but for me it's grown with the fans and the community that is built around it. And I think Taylor Swift is such an incredible inspiration for that because of that connection. I don't want to have a disparity and have a block between the people that love this music as much as I do. And that's why I do my lives. And that's why I share so much of my life. So 100% a massive Swiftie, not just for her music, but the way that she actually connects as an artist.
I was going to say, and you do the same thing. I mean, your Sunday morning sit down, even though it's 5 or 6 o'clock here in the U.S. on the East Coast or Central, that's usually when you're on Sunday morning, and it's our late Saturday afternoon. But that's usually when I catch you so far over the past few months. So I noticed that you like to do that, and just it's really cool to see someone like yourself do that and be engaging with the fan and just anybody in general. And for Facebook especially, to have that avenue to do that is very cool that you do that. I mean, you get so many people that tune into it, or even will re-catch it, which is really cool to do too, just in case you miss it. Definitely check out Cassidy-Rae's Facebook page, and you can catch a lot of not just that, but the reels and all the videos.
I wanted to take people on the adventure. Like I used to actually go on cruise ships and I would video my parents. I'm like, this is what I'm eating today. Like, bet you didn't see what a crew area of a cruise line looks like. And I started to realize that this is what a lot of people would see. Like, there are people in their lives that will never leave their hometown or their state. And it's like, well, have you ever been to Nashville? I can show you this adventure and we can get excited together. So that's why, the frequency of those reels. And Sunday Sit Down started over 4 years ago, before I'd released a song called More. And I was having tea one day and I was like, you know what, I'm going to go live. I've been talking about it for such a long time and I was trying to be perfect. And I realized I'd just rather be present than be perfect. And I think if it's if it's authentic, it's fine. And if I make a mistake, it's fine. Like the worst thing that I can do is just delete it. But other than that, I just get to be friends. And so I had a tea. It was a Sunday. I was sitting down. And I regret that I called it Sunday Sit Down because I now realize that it's this ongoing thing. I should have just called it Sit Down because so many Americans are like, it's not Sunday. You're wrong. It's Saturday. Where are you? And I'm like, I'm sorry. I did not expect this to be as big and as long as it was when I first went on a one whim of a day being like, it's Sunday. We're sitting down. Welcome to Sunday Sit Down. I'll come up with a better name later.
but it is very catchy. It really is. It is very catchy.
I should have just called it Sit Down because then I would have been like, any day of the week we're sitting down. But no, I have to specify.
But I do love that though. I love that you do all these reels and all these Facebook because you're actually, like I said, you're bringing the fans with you. Like the fans taking that journey with you. It's like it's not just me. Like you said, you do your music for your fans. So like the fact that, well, I'm in Nashville, or I'm in Washington, y'all here with me in Washington. Like y'all may be not here physically, but when I'm on this live, y'all still here with me though. Like y'all interacting and everything, y'all still there. So
I love that idea of like taking people on the adventure, especially when I was realizing that there are people that have just never seen it and have always wanted to see it. And there's kind of like not that opportunity and that space and place. Normally people are like, you should visit Nashville, and they show like clips of like really cool montages. And I'm like, but I actually just want to be there and see what it is like on a day-to-day basis of like from that first person perspective, to the point that now like I'm trying Wendy's and like going, I'm an Australian, and some Australians are never going to get to America, but they've heard of Wendy's, they've heard of, fried chicken and, shrimp in New Orleans and beignets, and they just want to try it and check it out. And it's like, oh, okay, I can do that. I can review this and kind of give you this description. And turns out Wendy's is just a little different, but like basically the same as McDonald's.
Yeah, that's true. And up here we've got a few, a lot of different fast food franchises are regional, so there's like more south is Zaxby's, but more up north you get more of the Rallies or Checkers. There's a lot of different ones, here and there. So
it's literally called Checkers down south. Like down south, it's called Checkers, but up here, Cleveland, it's called Rallies.
Okay,
but it's the same place.
They're the same place, though.
It's the same place.
Oh my gosh, I'll have to check it out. We might have to like do a review one day and like grab both and be like, are they really the same? Are there different spices? I don't know. It'll be fun.
And if you happen to find a Burger King by any chance before they all disappear.
Oh, they're in Australia. We're fine on that.
Well, they're starting to disappear here. So
there you go.
Yeah, they are. It's a little crazy, but they're starting to disappear here.
Okay, I'll have to maybe check it out and see if it's different from Australia. Maybe we'll see. I don't have very much time left. I'm going. I've got this on Monday, and I've got like 7 different events that I'm doing, and
you're busy.
5 on Tuesday, and I leave on. I'm just crazy. I just don't know.
Yeah. Being that you're always bouncing around, do you ever get the chance? One of our other favorite ones was movies. Do you happen to, have a favorite movie or two?
I have a list.
Oh, wow.
I have a list. So I've been asked that question so many times that I actually started a list. And
look at that. Oh, bravo. Wow.
So
you are perfect for our show.
This is like my list. So I had to start favorite actresses, actors, favorite movies, and then favorite books. There's like too many.
Clint,
we did actor and actresses.
No kidding. She's got the perfect 10 lists, right?
I actually have to do this.
I need to know who's your.
And they're like, "What's your favorite actress?" And I'm like, "There's just too many." Like one that makes me smile. The last one I saw. I will say I love like quite a lot of movies. A movie that I will happily repeat and not be sad about repeating it is called Ready Player One. I love that movie. I think it's awesome. And I love the Addams Family series. The movies, not the TV shows. I like anything. Oh, it's just like I'm looking at my list and I'm just like, there's just too many things. Like I love Dawson's Creek. My mum and I grew up watching Dawson's Creek, but that's not even a movie. I love the Harry Potter series, the Twilight series, the Hunger Games series. I don't know. See, there's just too many movies that are like series that I love.
I was going to say you are more prepared for perfect 10 lists than what we were. We're going to have to ask her what category she's got.
It's just crazy.
Wow, check that out.
When I went on the plane, I re-downloaded Ready Player One, and I watched that because I think it's a fantastic movie, and I always get so excited watching it every time. And I think I've also like downloaded The Notebook and anything with what's her name, Jessica Chastain. Yeah. So yeah, I like that. So it's terrible. I'm terrible at this. Absolutely terrible at favorites. You need to pick. And how do you categorize them? And like, can you do it by year? Do it by year? I just don't know. You could like.
I know we've done Halloween movies, we've done Halloween specials, Christmas movies, Christmas specials. We
don't actually celebrate Halloween, so for me it's a little bit easier with that. I just be like, no. We just didn't celebrate it growing up. It's not really an Australian thing.
No trick or treating.
No, I've never been trick or treating. It's not a thing. We don't get dressed up. I think only in the past couple of years when shops realized they could have a sale, we have Black Friday, but Black Friday is a very American like history. Like there's a reason that you have Black Friday. But in Australia, we've now got Black Friday sales. Do we celebrate Thanksgiving anywhere? No, like not at all.
American thing.
Do I really celebrate Halloween? No. So I've not watched any Halloween movies. I'm not big into horror. So I could do that. I'd just be like, skip completely.
Okay, you have been a lot of places.
I have.
And we know that, you're actually back on Carnival Splendor from the end of November to about the end of December.
Yeah.
It looks like. Where haven't you gone yet that you would like to go?
The rest of the 50 states of America, Canada, Spain, Germany. I'll start off. So I love America. I'd love to visit all 50 states. I've been to, I think, 11. So I've got like a lot to go. I've always wanted to visit Canada and try poutine and go to Niagara Falls and actually just drive to Victoria and Ontario. I've been to Paris and Italy. I've always wanted to visit the UK. I have so many friends and a community over there. I'd love to visit Spain, but I'd love to like go and actually see the bulls and like actually see the red flag and watch the bulls run through it. I'd love to do Germany and go and visit an Oktoberfest. I'd love to drive.
Yeah, same.
I'd love to go watch the sunset on Santorini. I'd love to go to New Zealand and go to Hobbitown because I'm a nerd. Like there's just so many places. I'd love to go on a Disney cruise and then go visit all of the like specific Disney Castaway Cay. That's an island only owned by Disney. Yep. I'd love to go to all the rest of the Disneys. I've been to Disney World, Disneyland Hong Kong, and Disney Paris. So I'd love to go to the Japan one, Tokyo, and I'd love to go on a Disney cruise. So they're literally everywhere and anywhere. I'd love to go to Africa and actually do like a real safari. I did it in Disney World and I was like, this is amazing. Let's do the real thing now. Yeah, I don't know. There's like too many places to name.
No, I was going to say, that's pretty cool though.
Yeah, I'd love to go and take some grass to Iceland. I'd go see the grass in Iceland and go see Greenland and see all the ice in Greenland. Nice. I'd love to like try potatoes in Ireland and see Scotland and hear like their music, like Scottish music and Irish music and like the actual traditional lands. And I just think that would be beautiful. So too many places, and I want to do it for the culture that's there. Like I don't just want to go to Wisconsin. I want to try cheese in Wisconsin. I don't just want to go to Ohio. I want to actually go see the Greens and the Blues play, and for somebody to be like green and blue, and I want to do it all. Like, I don't just want to go and say, I stepped outside of the airport, I'm here. I actually want to experience the culture, because I think, life's meant to be lived, and there's such a different world out there outside of Australia that I think is yet to be explored. So, yeah.
I was going to say, in Cleveland, we got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame up this direction. Yeah.
So cool. I'd love to see that. I only just saw the Johnny Cash Museum in Nashville, so I'd love to see
That had to be very nice.
That's in your town as well.
Yeah, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's a big attraction, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and you can't just go to one part of a state. Like, I've only been to Nashville. I haven't been to Franklin or Memphis. I haven't been to Dolly World. And then, I can't just go to LA if I've only been to Disneyland and Hollywood Sign. Like, there's so much more to LA than that. And I can't just go to all the touristy places. I want to be an explorer, not just a tourist. So I want to actually be in these places.
And Niagara Falls, especially, if you can get outside, it's not far. You can literally go about a good 6-7 miles outside of the initial touristy area and actually get into a lot of the culturistic areas and restaurants that are 10 miles in, and really have some really good dinners and some good meals. You can always go to the diners and everything off the tourist, right off the strip there, but to go 10 miles in and really get some home food, home cooking, as we like to call it, that's I'm with you on that. That's definitely
there's just so many things to try and so little time. No wonder I'm racing around everywhere I can go.
So what is one of the things on your bucket list?
Visit all 50 states of America. That's really on my bucket list. But I don't just want to visit them. I want to be in them. Like everything I said, I want to go hot air ballooning in Turkey, and I want to go to Oktoberfest in Germany, and I want to go to witness life. That's all on my bucket list. I would love actually, you know what? Here's a music one. I would love to make a debut at the Grand Ole Opry. I think that would be absolutely incredible. I've played at the Bluebird Cafe, which is where Taylor Swift has played and Keith Urban has played. It's a world-renowned music venue here in Nashville. And I visited the Opry. I absolutely love it. I love the history of the Grand Ole Opry. I'd love to be invited to make a debut on the Grand Ole Opry. I think that's on my bucket list at the moment.
I was going to say, with all of the music you've got going so far,
yeah,
we definitely are going to share the bejeebies out of all of your stuff as it is. One of my favorite is the Cheers Y'all. I can just keep kicking that on my playlist now. It's just yep, it's one that keeps me going. At least once a day, keeps kicking through, and I'm just yep, that's one of my faves. So
Cheers Y'all. Next Chapter is another one.
Mm-hmm.
I remember. If I remember correctly, I think you said that song was about a love interest or something, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say, and I took it more of a symbolic thing. It's like life is chapters, like every obstacle or anything that you succeed or fail in, whatever you go from that, it's a chapter. So I resonate with that song. Then of course, Cheers Y'all. That's just a happy song for me. That's just you know what? Cheers, y'all. You know what? We may do another day.
I love that.
I ain't got tea, but I had a body armor.
So it started on cruise lines, being a resident entertainer, and after every song, everybody was just in always a good mood. And they would raise their glass and they go, "Cheers, y'all!" And I'd be like, "Cheers!" And they're like, "No, you have to add the y'all." And I was like, "Cheers, y'all!" And down. My bless my mum's heart. I love her to death. But she says, "Cheers, y'all." And so she doesn't just say y'all. And I'm like, "Say wool." And she's like, "Wool." And I'm like, "Add a Y." And she's like, "Y'all." And I'm like, "Now say cheers, y'all." And she's like, "Cheers, y'all." And I'm like, "No."
she took the apostrophe in it. She faces it out.
She does it on purpose. God love her.
Like, just take the apostrophe out. Just like
I
just
love
say
it.
y'all like that.
I love it so much. It's not a very Australian thing to say y'all. And I had somebody actually tell me, like, it's not going to be a very good song because in Australia, y'all isn't said. We just don't say it. And so this market is not just going to receive it at all. And I went, well, you know what? We shorten breakfast to brekkie. We shorten afternoon to arvo, McDonald's to Macca's. We could shorten you all to y'all. Like, it's not a hard thing. We're a shortening country of, like, we shorten everything. And somebody went, no, Australians have already shortened it. It's yous. And I went, no, yous are wrong. It is y'all. 1 is you, 2 is y'all, 3 is all y'all.
Nice pun.
Yeah.
Wrong.
So I actually ended up like going. I went on this entire like radio tour where I drove around to all these different radio stations, and I'd get them to raise a glass with me live in the studio as I play it, and I'm like, you got to say y'all. And so I got as many in the music industry to say y'all as possible, and be like, see, it's Australian, it's catching on, it's a thing.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Well, do you want to play us out to anything? You want to jam?
Yeah.
You want to jam anything?
It's y'all.
You
I have
wanna
my
jam
guitar. Would you like to actually like sing it, or would you like to just play it?
If you want to jam it, go ahead and jam.
Jam it. Go ahead.
Let's jam it. I've got like Nashville picks and everything. I love it. Because you went to Nashville, you've got to get like a Nashville pick that says Nashville. So yeah, y'all are gonna have to sing Cheers Y'all now. Alrighty, here we go.
I'm not the best singer now. I'm gonna try.
Back, drink it down now. Tonight we won't forget friends to remember. We are the lucky ones, and it's just time. So here's to the good times rolling on. Here's to the love that's come and gone. Raise your glass and I say cheers. You say?
Cheers, y'all.
Well,
Here's to the love and laughter. Here's to the happy ever after. One and all when I say cheers. You say?
cheers, y'all.
Cheers, y'all. Oh, yeah. Every hour is happy, heating of the breath. Let's take it down and let go of the stress for the atmosphere. The vibes only when we say cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, y'all.
This is your time, so here's to the good times rolling on. Here's to the love that's coming on. Raise your glass and I say cheers. We say
Cheers, y'all.
here's to the love and laughter. Here's to the happy ever after. One and all, and I say cheers. We say cheers.
Cheers, y'all.
Oh, yeah. Woo! To the ones who love us, to the losers who lost us, to the ones we've yet to meet. Whoa! To the moments that break us, 'cause they are the moments that make us. Here's to good vibes, not goodbyes. Here's to you and I, 'cause we are the lucky ones, and the best is yet to come. So here's to the good times rolling on. Here's to the love that's coming gone. Raise your glass and I say cheers. We say cheers.
Cheers, y'all.
Here's to the love and laughter. Here's to the happy ever after. One and all, and I say cheers. We say
Cheers,
Cheers,
y'all.
y'all.
cheers, y'all.
Oh,
Oh my goodness, that was awesome.
yes.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
Same to you.
I love that.
This was an absolute blast. I love the fact that you took some time to hang out with us, and Gail and Adam, we'll try to get them with us next time so that they can chat with you as well. I really appreciate this. This was fantastic to have you.
I appreciate y'all. The love and the effort that you put into this. It's so evident. I really hope everybody out there shows the support and keeps on listening. But thank you so much. We're going to do this next time. We're going to have some tea and some Tim Tams. It's going to be great.
Definitely.
Next time you come to Ohio, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you like roller coasters?
I love roller coasters.
Oh,
Cedar Point it is.
Cedar Point it is. Yep. Cedar Point's 20 minutes away.
That's all. I've heard so much about Cedar Point. I went to Busch Gardens in Virginia, and I heard Cedar Point is like just amazing. So
yep, yeah. I'm 20 minutes from it.
We have I want to say the Millennium Force is in the Guinness Book of World Records for like.
Now you're just
like roller coaster.
I love it. Can't wait.
I do have one more thing before we head on out.
Yeah.
And you talk about how like all the advice that you got. One thing I think you said in your Sunday sit down, you said that somebody I think put in a comment was like, "Oh yeah, I hope you get signed." And I think you said it's not about getting signed; it's about learning and trying to improve your craft and like trying to get advice from like other artists and everything that's out there. So my last question for this will just be for anybody that want to be a musician. What's the one piece of advice that you will probably give anybody that want to be an aspiring musician, or they're just getting into music, or they feel like they have like that rough and like they think music is there, but they're not sure. Like, if you give them one piece of advice, what would that advice be?
I would ask. So I would ask why. Honestly, like I said, the point of me being here and playing for publishers wasn't to get signed. It was to literally learn. I've not been in Nashville songwriting and sharing my songs before. Had this amazing opportunity to actually get feedback from hit makers, from people that are working with artists that I inspire and I listen to constantly, and I'm so influenced by. So if somebody came up to me and they said, "Look, I want to be in the music industry," I'd say, what part? Like, there's so many different avenues. And then I'd say, why? Like, if your point is to be famous, there's so many easier ways to get famous. And if your job is to make money, there's so many easier ways to make money. If your job is if it's because that you love it and that you wake up and you can't not do this, that it's like a physical calling, that you feel drawn to it like a magnet, I would say remember that. Because this is a really hard industry in the sense that there are so many incredibly talented people, not just in Australia, not just in Nashville, but like all around the world. There are so many incredibly talented people that are living this and loving this. And it isn't a job. It is a passion. It is, I don't have a plan B. I can't do anything else. This is what I want to do with my life. And this is what I'm called to do, constantly waking up in the morning, getting so excited, like 4 a.m. in the morning, to go shoot content or songwrite or co-write from around the other side of the world. So I would say find your why and then remember that, and remember it every single day. And it's got to be a good why. Like, I wouldn't, I'm not a good radio host, and y'all are absolutely incredible at it, and you know why you do it, and you find your joy, and you've got to remember that in the times when you're like, there are a million other radio stations or a million other hosts. You've got to go, I love this, and I'm not doing it for anybody else, I'm doing this for me. So that would be my piece of advice. Just one, I guess.
I was
perfectly said.
Yep. I was no pun intended, but that is perfectly said.
Thank you so much.
That really is. I'm good for those listening on WOBL. Just your Instagram is Cassidy-Rae Official.
Yeah.
Facebook is Cassidy-Rae. Snapchat Wilson.Cassidy. The Twitter is the Cassidy-Rae, and YouTube Miss CRW1.
You got it.
And of course, your website is Cassidy-Rae.com.
Yeah, you got it completely. Cassidy-Rae.com has access to all of them. So if they're like, "Oh my goodness, that's too much information,"
yeah, it's a lot.
the website. come check it out. There's a lot of places that you can listen to music on Spotify and Apple Music, but then you can also like come join this community that I'm building. And I love celebrating birthdays, so if they're on the website, they can always like sign up, put in their name and their email, and just write in their birthday, because on their special day I'd love to send them like a cute little songogram and celebrate with them, and I think that would be awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. My birthday's coming up too.
I was gonna say mine's in August.
August too, yeah.
I got the 5-0 happening in August. So.
Oh my gosh! Well, happy early birthday. That's so exciting.
Thank you. Again, we hope that you've enjoyed this. Like you said, this is kind of what we like to do, is just we sit down kind of like a round table type thing and just love to chat, and we just pick a topic and go with it. So we hope you've enjoyed this as much as we have enjoyed having you. This was very cool to do with you.
It was so much fun. Thank you for having me. I can't wait to the next time.
I was going to say, and maybe we will have to ask her maybe to join in on one of the lists, since she has them ready at her phone.
We'll have you pick the list.
Yeah, we'll have you pick the list.
We'll have to pick the list, and we'll do our 10.
We'll put ours up against yours, and that'll be a blast.
That'll be so fun.
Well, again, thank you very much to LaTroy Hay, Bodine, Delmonico's Barbershop, Pizza Galley, our sponsors. Thank you guys very much. And thank you everybody for tuning in. Cassidy-Rae, where else will you be besides on Splendor during November into December? You got anything upcoming?
I'm performing back in Australia. So I go back home and I've got the Royal Queensland show is called Eka, and I'll be performing at that on the 18th of August. I'm Gympie Music Master Talent Search finalist, which Morgan Evans will be headlining as well. And Casey Barnes will be at, and Catherine Britt, and so many other incredible, talented Australian artists. But I'm actually a finalist playing there, so I'll be there, and then I'll be touring all around in September and October. So definitely come and hang out with me there.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again for joining us.
Yes, thank you. This was fun.
This was a lot of fun. And as we usually say here on the Perfect 10, and even though we have no Adam, say good night, Gracie.
Night, Gracie.